viewer contributions make local programming possible on WNIN. Become a member of WNIN with your contribution so we can continue to make this programming available. Visit WNIN.org and click on the donate button.
Now for today's keynote, it is a privilege to introduce one of our speakers, Sister Jane Michele McClure. Sister Jane's efforts toward her desire to move her community forward began at Mater Dei High School, where she led high school students in the English department, primarily in speech. So while she should be given accolades and credit for so many amazing, eloquent orators that she produced, she also must lay some blame, as she is partly responsible for what you've had to endure this past year, as I am a former student of hers. But Sister Jane has been a champion of the underserved and has been tireless in her efforts, which have been with the Habitat of Humanity for over 20 years, serving as Major Gifts Officer. She'll also be joined by Habitat's Executive Director Beth Folz, Construction Director Patrick Landry, and Daniela Vidal, the Chancellor of Ivy Tech Community College. So now please welcome Sister Jane Michele McClure.
Thank you. May I begin by saying thank you, PJ. That's what we call him on the West Side, okay? Maybe unknown to all the Rotarians, so thank you. I am going to serve as sort of the moderator of this, but actually I think I'm just the first speaker. Build Together, Learn Together is an innovative partnership between Habitat for Humanity of Evansville and Ivy Tech Community College, uniting affordable housing and workforce development to strengthen our community from the ground up. I would like to introduce, Pete has introduced them a little bit, but I'd like them to stand up. I'd like to introduce the players in this enterprise. This group, united by its shared belief in the importance of collaboration and that 1 + 1 can add up to 3 or more. We held our first meeting in 2022 in then Mayor Winicke's office. The group, led by Alan and Sandy Newman of the Newman Family Foundation, all right, stand up, and included Daniela Vidal, the Chancellor of Ivy Tech, Beth Folz, the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity, Celia Shoulders, Executive Director of Resource Development at Ivy Tech, and Patrick Landry, our Construction Director at Habitat. And needless to say, Mayor Stephanie Terry sends her regrets. She would have liked to have been there. She supported our efforts throughout. And it's safe to say that Build Together, Learn Together would never gotten off the ground were it not for the vision, leadership, and dare I say, persistence of Alan and Sandy. So another round of applause, please. We knew from the beginning that 2 goals would be front and center in all that we hope to achieve. Number 1, address the lack of decent, affordable housing in Evansville. And secondly, build a skilled workforce through hands-on education and support. As we continue to meet, 3 major challenges began to emerge. The first was Habitat's own building capacity. We couldn't build fast enough. We didn't have enough volunteers. Construction methods were inefficient. Secondly, more than 90% of all applicants for Habitat home ownership don't qualify on their first try. Why? Anybody want to guess? Why they don't qualify? Habitat can't answer. Somebody else? Hearing is the first to go. Yeah. Anyway, debt. Debt. People simply are in debt. And I would say low income kind of is close behind that. Their income is simply too low. Finally, while there's a clear need for more residential construction training, Ivy Tech currently lacks the space for essential labs and hands-on learning. At the same time that the Build Together, Learn Together team was meeting, Habitat was developing its own strategic plan, one that aimed to double our annual production from 20 homes to 40 homes a year by 2029. And we also had to address the needs of applicants who were initially denied. How could we help them build financial skills, reduce debt, and increase their income so that they could qualify for home ownership? And to build more, we needed a new construction model. This last initiative, the new construction model, seemed more and more like the essential foundation for moving Build Together, Learn Together forward. And here to talk about Habitat's new volunteer center, a panelized construction facility located at 935 Maxwell Avenue, right by Escalade Sports, if you're familiar with that area, is our construction director, Patrick Landry.
Thank you, Sister. Good afternoon, everyone. So right now, what Habitat does is we do on-site stick building. So that's just the traditional way of building. But starting in July, we will be panelizing all of our walls at this indoor facility. So what is that? What is panelization? What does that mean? When we panel our walls, we build all of our walls, the exterior and interior, in our volunteer center. So this is a building that's on the Kentucky-Indiana Lumber campus. It used to be, up until 2018, K&I's truss plant. So it's just been sitting empty since then. So not a big jump for us to use that unoccupied building to start our off-site wall construction. So this was a climate-controlled environment under a roof that we were looking for, and it was kind of right there under our noses. So what we did is went in there, we built jigs for all of our wall panels and work tables to streamline the process as much as possible. It's designed to hold up to about 25 people, 25 workers at once at any given time, and at full capacity, we should be able to complete one entire floor plan, one entire house in one day. It can also work well for smaller groups, 6 to 8. There's plenty to do. It's designed to create a work environment for all groups sizes that come in for us. So, it can handle up to 25 and then down to a smaller group. So after building the entire floor plan, we stack the walls in the given build order that the site calls for, and the whole package will be delivered to the site, where we will raise all the walls on the foundation and the floor system, which will be built on site beforehand. So what's the benefit of this? The benefit of the volunteer center is obviously a more streamlined operation. We'll be able to build each home more effectively and faster. This will knock off at least 2 days of the construction of the house, as opposed to the stick-built traditional way to do it. And it avoids that inclement weather that can always hamper a traditional job site. And cost, so this is going to be savings. The cost, as of right now, building that traditional way, we're losing about $6,000 a build in wasted materials, which is because they're sitting out in the weather too long, or because of theft. And also, we are spending a lot of money on illegal dumping. People come and dump their stuff in our on-site dumpsters. So this will change, this new building method will help reduce that cost because it just won't be out there in order to go to waste or get stolen. And another huge benefit of this that we're really excited about is the volunteer experience and recruitment. So obviously we rely very heavily on volunteers to come out and build with us, and this is going to give them a very good experience. It's going to do wonders for it. It'll give workers a conditioned space. There's got work tables that are going to be at working height, no more bending, no more reaching. Taking weather out of the equation, like I said, we will not have to cancel work days due to heat, due to cold, due to snow or rain. We can get in there and build on all of our given build days, no matter what Mother Nature's doing outside. It's also easy parking which will encourage kind of hesitant first-time volunteers, which we run into a lot. And in a centralized place, and then hopefully they'll come out once, build those walls, and then want to come out again and get into our neighborhoods to go ahead and raise those walls that they built that day. So this volunteer center and panelization, it checks a whole lot of boxes for us. So we're really, really excited about it. And so we would love to have all of you out to build with us at any point. We have plenty of opportunities for volunteering. So we build every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, both on site and now starting in July in the volunteer center. You can sign up as a group or come out as individuals for our standard build days. We also have a program that we started recently that kind of goes hand in hand with the volunteer center and is perfect for a group like the Rotaries. We call it the Community Builders Crew. This is a build day designed for businesses, corporations, civic groups, faith groups to come out and build. It's kind of a team building event where we build in the morning, we provide lunch, and kind of do a presentation about Habitat's history and its place in the community, and kind of what it is we do, and kind of bust some myths about Habitat. It's a great team building event. We've had a lot of good feedback from the groups that we've had out so far. We've had Centerpoint out, we've had the mayor's office out, and AARP. I think they all had a really, really good time. We got a lot of good feedback. So please, I invite you guys to sign up as a group or individually to any of these volunteer opportunities. You can sign up on our website, which is very user-friendly, or just grab me afterwards, and I can give you additional information. So, kind of how does this volunteer center advance the build together, learn together? And what other elements of this Ivy Tech Habitat partnership, how does it tie in? Here to tell us more about that is Daniela Vidal and Beth Folz.
Good afternoon. Happy to be here with you today to talk about this exciting partnership. When we started these conversations, I would say a couple of years ago, but I think it was probably more than that, Ellen and Sandy approached us, and they really wanted our two organizations to join that shared mission. And they challenged us with finding a way to build more homes, to address the housing challenges in Evansville, but to get our students to help build the homes and earn those skills and earn while learning and earning, basically. And we really struggled. Number one, because we don't have a construction program anymore. We didn't really have programs where the students would apply those skills that would benefit Habitat in the way they were building the home. So we talked and talked, and that's why it's taken about 3 years, and really thought through what are the ways in which we can truly impact this project. However, in those conversations, we uncovered some pretty incredible things. For example, 1% of our students at Ivy Tech are housing insecure. We even have a number of students that are homeless while going to Ivy Tech, which I just find mind-blowing. And I've talked to several of them. I have a student that I'm sure you've seen him, but there's a student that's always outside my door. I think he probably is homeless, and he's on our campus day in and day out. So it's a huge need, not only to help Habitat, but even our own students that are in that situation. We continue to hear from community members that we need more construction skilled labor, both residential and commercial. But like I said, as we were looking at how do we do these, we just don't have this space. We were also approached this year by the Indiana Landmarks. They asked 5 of our campuses throughout the state to figure out a way to help build that workforce to help with historic preservation. As you know, that's a dying art. There are very few contractors still out there that can do that, and so but there's more and more interest in buying historic homes or historic properties. So that's a huge need that we have as a state. So the Volunteer Center, it's really what helped us address this. So I think we're gonna. This was truly a game-changing opportunity for Ivy Tech. It gives us that living laboratory for skills training. You have that hands-on and experiential facility where you can earn and learn all these life skills. But it opens the door for us to bring back the construction program. And it also helps us build the historic preservation, historic skills that we're looking for. Now, this is a whole new way of building. We really don't even know exactly how we're going to apply. We know the why, we have the what. Now we got to figure out the how, because this is really a game-changing, a transformational way to build these homes. So we're seeing that momentum coming, but what we want to do as our next step is bring a group of subject matter experts at Ivy Tech, our program chairs, deans, and academic side, as well as our student supports, to do a build day so that we can really kind of embrace and understand how this needs to flow and understand where do we apply our student labor to help Habitat with increased capacity as we achieve all these other elements of our relationship. So some of the ideas that are coming up so far, if we go to the next slide. These are some immediate thoughts as we start talking about it. You know, we can bring in students, you know, from basic math and trig as we prepare the materials for the volunteer team so that things are ready to go when you're there. We can bring in students for rigging the different parts of the flow in the process. Of course, HVAC's always been a skilled labor that we can provide. Supply chain logistics. I mean, this has opened the door for a number of other programs that weren't obvious at first. To help build those skills of scheduling and planning and material purchasing, things like that. Even providing skills training, again, looking at that do-it-yourself historic preservation. We can do day-long workshops on, you know, restoring windows. That's one that's actually we're launching at a statewide level for historic preservation, or how to become a HUD certified contractor. That's a need that's been brought up to us. You know, there's certain things that you need to do to be HUD certified as we get grants to be able to either build low-income housing as well as historic preservation. So the opportunities are really tremendous, but we really need to have those that are actually teaching to really figure out the how of how we're going to do these. One thing we did launch already is bringing back a program that started right before COVID, and then it got COVID. But we had launched, I think in 2019, 2018, Ivy Succeed, where we were partnering with Habitat to help with the financial planning courses. And those now can be crosswalked into Ivy Tech, and they're earning 1 credit when they complete Habitat's financial courses. And that helps those potential homeowners get their foot in the door to earn, you know, get some more skills. As you just heard from Sister Jane, one of the big barriers is their income levels. By coming to Ivy Tech and even doing a short certificate program, that can help those potential home buyers to get to those income levels that they need. So that's already in place, and we are very excited to collaborate, to bring that back and collaborate with Habitat in that way. So why does this partnership matter? Again, thanks to the vision of Ellen and Sandy Newman, they have brought our 2 organizations together. Again, bringing that shared vision and mission that we have to bring prosperity to our community through home ownership and education. We know that those are 2 key elements to get people to reach their potential and, again, bring that prosperity to our community. We're going to be able to do these by helping Habitat achieve their double the number of homes produced in a year, help our students gain the skills while earning a living, assist applicants improve their chances of being qualified, and helping our students that need a home secure that home as well. I really cannot think of many other partnerships that provide this level of synergy and impact at what Ellen and Sandy have brought us together to accomplish. This has been really a wonderful journey to get us here. We're very excited to get to this point and see this coming to fruition. And to tell us a little bit more about the details of that's going to happen, I would like to welcome Beth Folz, Executive Director for Habitat, as she talks about more about the Volunteer Center and ways this partnership are going to be achieved. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. I want to just convey my gratitude again for allowing us to be here today and share this good news about our Habitat Volunteer Center and this exciting partnership with Ivy Tech. We believe the Volunteer Center will be a evolution, if you say, of our building model that will change the way we build forever. And it will allow us to build more efficiently. And the bottom line is it will allow us to serve more families in our community. We're confident that our partnership with Ivy Tech will help us realize all of that. So volunteers are the lifeblood of Habitat. I'm just curious how many out there have ever volunteered with Habitat in any capacity, if you'll raise your hand. Oh my gosh, I love it. You know what a difference you've made in our community. We've recently dedicated our 623rd home here. I'm going a little off script. We were only the 25th affiliate in the entire country, and there's about 1,100 Habitat affiliates in the country that have reached that 600 home milestone, and that's because of people like you in this community. But we couldn't do that without our volunteers. So our volunteers allow us to build high quality, energy efficient homes while keeping our cost as low as possible. But the benefits of volunteering extend far beyond construction. Research has consistently shown that volunteering improves our mental health, our physical well-being, our cognitive functioning, social connectedness, and even career and skill development. At Habitat, we're always seeking new ways to engage volunteers, and this partnership opens up several exciting avenues. We have campus chapters at USI and at U of E, and we are hopeful of starting a campus chapter at Ivy Tech. This allows students to have regular volunteer opportunities out on our build sites and in our volunteer center, or they can serve on committees. This offers students a unique opportunity to interact with our core crew, and our core crew are those more seasoned members of our community that are generally retired, who are coming out 2 and 3 days a week to build. Most of them don't have a background in construction. Most of them, we've got some doctors and optometrists and professional salespeople, and then some tradespeople too that are part of our core crew. And so exposing the students to that various professions is going to serve them well. But probably the more impactful thing is working alongside our future homeowners. I am continually amazed at the resilience of low-income families in our community that come to Habitat and are becoming homeowners, because they are juggling families, working full-time jobs, and then they're signing up for a program that's requiring them to do 300 hours of sweat equity in a year. And you talk about resiliency, our families are super resilient and nothing short of inspiring. And I'm sure working alongside those folks will make a difference in those students' lives. Another way this partnership helps is it creates a pathway for Ivy Tech students to gain hands-on experience through internships. We have construction internships, social work internships through our Family Services Department. Our Development Department can always use internships, helping in communications, event planning, social media. Those type of internships will be allowed through this partnership with Ivy Tech. And there's a wide array of how people can become connected with us through volunteering. This partnership is not just about students helping Habitat, it's also about Habitat homeowners succeeding. Through Ivy Tech's Career Link program, our homeowners can tap into career services resources at Ivy Tech. As Daniela mentioned, we have a 6-month money management class that our homeowners have to take and complete, and they get a credit hour at Ivy Tech for completing that. And that's just to spur them on, because we know the way to break out of poverty is through having an affordable, decent place to live and education. So before I close, I want to share a story about one of our recent homeowners. I'm going to use his name as Joe. Joe kind of had a tough start in life. He'd been on his own since the age of 16. He was often homeless, relying on friends for a place to stay from time to time. But despite these challenges, he finished high school. He began working at a hospital as a tech in one of our local hospitals. Despite those challenges that he was facing, he enrolled at Ivy Tech in their nursing program there. At that same time, in that same year he's starting his education with Ivy Tech, he applies and was accepted into the Habitat program. And that now meant he's working a full-time job at a hospital, he's going to school full-time, and now he's got to do 300 hours of sweat equity. So pretty resilient young man. In 2022, he graduated from Ivy Tech with his nursing associate's degree. He closed on his Habitat home, and he got accepted into University of Evansville's nursing program. I am happy to report that just this past May, he earned his nursing degree from University of Evansville. While he was there, he started a club to support other minority students at University of Evansville's nursing program. And now he has the job at the hospital as a nurse that he originally worked as a tech for. So pretty powerful, resilient young man. Education and home ownership are a powerful combination. Together, they are proven to be a path out of poverty. Through this Build Together, Learn Together initiative, we hope that Joe's story is just the beginning. Our dream is to scale this model with other Habitat affiliates across the state and with Ivy Tech campuses across the state. We're going to make it happen. So thank you again for welcoming us today, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. Does anybody have any questions?
Hi, I love what you're doing with all the local colleges, universities. We do have, I'm sure you know, the Career and Technical Center that has all the construction departments. They have a lot of electrician programs. Do you guys partner with them at all for anything for those volunteer-based hours? And with them being 18, 19 even, maybe looking into becoming part of this program as well? Yeah,
that's we have great news on that front. So I think this year, each year we have partnered with the Southern Indiana Career and Technical Center School, and they are building one house a year for us every year. And I think, was this the fifth? This year we built our fifth house with them. So that kind of gave us an idea of also how to build this partnership too. And I will say that program just won this year one of the Leadership Everyone Awards too. So, yeah.
Congratulations on the amazing work you're doing.
Thank you.
I took part in the Habitat Building Blitz that I think we built 26 homes in one day.
Yes, yeah.
And since
A
then,
week, a week, 1 week.
Yeah, in 1 week, yeah. Yeah, it was a real busy day.
If you can build it in a day, we want you.
Since then, the Rotary Club of Evansville built a Habitat house. It's out near Midtown, Deaconess Midtown.
Yeah.
And that was a great day. So maybe we could consider doing something like that again, folks. Build a house.
Yes, yeah.
That'd be cool.
We would love that. Love that.
And maybe this is a question for Daniela. I noticed that the state legislature, in its infinite wisdom, has just knocked out 200 jobs from the Ivy Tech campuses. Will that have any impact on this program, or what other programs might be impacted by that big cutback?
Sure. No, thanks. Yeah, that's really dominated our lives for the last couple of months as we took a lot of care in going through where to make those cuts in a way that would impact the least amount of students. Those were kind of the guidelines that we had to think very carefully. So yeah, we're really trying not to impact any program. We are sunsetting a couple of programs that were low enrollment that would help with the cost, but it will not impact this one. Actually, this is where we're seeing potential for growth. So, we're taking these measures, to have a balanced budget, because that's, of course, what we have to do start July 1st, assuming that 10% cut. We may get some back. We're still waiting on that. But we had to start with a balanced budget. But the idea is now we're switching our focus to growth and how do we, learn to be more efficient in everything that we do and kind of do more with less. But it's focusing on those programs that where there's demand and making sure that we have the right resources and staffing to make those grow. And this is an area where we see that demand.
I'm impressed with the panelization efforts. What about the roof structure? Do you see that coming into play? Because looks like that could easily be.
Get the team back in the stage.
Today we see entire homes delivered on site, walls and roof structure and everything. Could that not be done for Habitat?
So currently, actually, our trusses are engineered trusses, so they do get built off-site as well. Our lumber company does that. They build them in Shelbyville. They used to build them here. That's the building that we're in. And then they deliver it. And we have contractors that come and set those trusses for us because of the heights. But yeah, so same deal. It's just that K&I's building them for us because they've got to be engineered. They've got to be stamped. So.
Excellent presentation. Do you have a wait list, or where can we sign up if Rotarians can organize a day that we could come in to build?
So we do not have a wait list. You can definitely sign up for any of those build days. You can definitely go to our website, or and I can give you a card too and get a hold of me. But our website is very user friendly, and I can get you in contact with our volunteer coordinator, and we can get you guys all set up for that. So I'll give you a card afterwards.
So when a group signs up, they say you want to reserve like 25 spots for Rotary to come out and build. We put it on our website. We give you the link, and your volunteers can just sign up through that link. So it's very, very easy.
I'll go first, Kathy, since I have the microphone. Thank you. Thank you so much for such an excellent presentation and for the meaningful work that you're doing in our community. I was actually struck by a fact that Sister Jane Michele shared with us, which is that debt is the #1 barrier to family self-sustenance. And I just wondered how you work with families to overcome that barrier, and as the economy changes with the possibility of a recession and inflation, how those strategies might be changing in the next few years.
Yeah. So we have about 600 applicants a year to our program. And thankfully, we're able to serve every family that qualifies. So we're working right now with about 32 families in our program, but we're bringing those families on every month. We're approving more families, and we're closing on houses too. For those families that don't qualify on their first opportunity, we partner with another collaboration, other nonprofits in the community that are doing financial literacy work with those families. So we work with the Evansville Christian Life Center, Hope of Evansville, Catholic Charities. I'm going to forget somebody here, but we partner with them. We invite folks in that have been denied and say, if you want to address your debt, come and meet with these nonprofits that are working in that arena to kind of do some counseling with them. But I will tell you, we don't have a great return on people taking that next step of they'll come to the meeting, but rarely are they going the next step of actually reaching out to those organizations. So one of my hopes, and one thing that I hope to work on before I retire from Habitat, is to bring that in-house so that when they're getting a denial letter from Habitat saying you don't currently qualify, they're also getting an invitation to sit down with the counselor and say, build out a plan, and if you do this, this, and this, we can help you qualify for either a home through Habitat or through some other financial institution, because some of the banks have low-income lending programs. So that's a dream of mine. I've got to get to work. We have requested some grant funds to fund that position, and we're waiting to hear from those. So.
I want to add kind of part two to that. So the other side of that equation is obviously help getting out of debt, but also raising the income for those families so that they can qualify. And I think that's where we step in, and that's what we're seeing. And I want to take the opportunity that we have this audience here. Right now, we just completed a study with Techonomy. Indiana needs 86,000 Hoosiers to reskill or upskill every year to sustain our economic level that we have now and to grow. But that means the majority, 2/3 of our students are working adults. So they are working in your companies right now, making maybe minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage. And what we need from employers, and that's where we see our students be most successful, is when their employer sponsors their education so that they can grow within what they're already doing, because they have to work for a living, but they're working for very small salaries that can't qualify them. But we partner with employers to help support those students to come to Ivy Tech, to upskill or reskill, especially as we know it's coming. We're seeing that wave of those low-skill jobs disappearing with technology, with AI, but we see a whole host of new jobs coming in. So we really do need to invest in our own people here. I say this all the time. We have enough population in Evansville to fill the jobs. A lot of that population is currently in the fringes, and we just need to make sure we give them an opportunity to go into get the skills they need to be productive members of society, really. So I really need the support of all the employers to help us support those students to upskill and then be eligible.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Of course, Habitat has a soft spot in my heart. My father was very, very involved, Jim Fowler, and he was part of the original core group that went on Wednesdays, that went back and worked on houses that were not completed during the Blitz that I also helped with. And so it's very, very dear to me. And I like the idea of the savings from theft from the work site, but how are you going to get those big walls to your work site? Do you have a new truck, or what are you doing?
So where the volunteer center is located, our lumber supplier is Kentucky Indiana Lumber. So they'll not only deliver us the raw lumber, the studs and all the 2x4s and everything, but then instead of just delivering those on site, we will load up their truck and they'll deliver it on site for us. So yeah, and we've been working with them a little bit. We've actually had them panelize a couple of our builds just to kind of work that out logistically. And it's worked really well, with the wall placement and everything. We're trying not to run our guys ragged by dragging walls everywhere. So the way that it was stacked and the way that it runs, it really does run a lot more efficiently. So that's the plan, is to partner with them. So.
Any other questions?
Thank you for a great presentation. This is a question for Beth. As far as you've talked about the structure, building the structure, the new technology you're using, which is fantastic. What about the land acquisition? I know in the past, I helped, I think you and I talked, Beth, about clearing some titles. I know you get donations of land where people have a lot. I assume you get maybe some tax sale properties. Tell me how that works.
Most of our properties right now we get through Evansville's land bank. And so they go through a process of clearing title on those before we get those. So probably, if I'm looking at Patrick, because he also, in addition to being in charge of building our houses, he also does all our real estate acquisition too. And I would say we get like 95% of our properties through the land bank.
Yeah, 80 to 90 we're getting from the land bank. All and those are all those infield lots, urban lots, and we have a good relationship with them. They know where we're wanting to build. They know, they'll give me a call and say, hey, we've got one. It's right next to your lot. And then that other one, it's either donations that from individuals, from lot owners, or when we're building a concentration, I will on occasion, buy on the open market if it's I need that lot to finish out a block or something like that. That's right there in that sweet spot. So, but mostly land bank acquisitions. So.
Any other questions?
Thank you again for your presentation. In regards to metrics or measurements for what Habitat does to transform the community, it's really challenging, I'm sure, to measure that. But the homeowners that are embedded in those areas and that vibrance, if you will, from what's established in a community, can you talk a little bit about what that does for a city, and also perhaps give us an idea of the footprint for Habitat homes, what areas you're touching? I know a lot of times they're clustered together. And lastly, we want to commend Habitat for what you've done for the community.
We build in concentration, and we have that model kind of started after the 2006 tornado, after we built New Haven subdivision on the south end of Green River Road. We kind of went to a concentration of where we want to put at least 15 or 16 houses in a neighborhood when we're building. And the metrics we use, actually, we've had 2 impact studies that have been performed that talk about the impact Habitat's had, not only on the families, but also on the community. And our most recent one was done, I believe, in 2017. Don't quote me on that. It was either 16 or 17. And it found that over 90% of Habitat homes remain in good condition. It also found that our homeowners have better financial habits. They get better jobs after moving into their Habitat home. It also found that children that grow up in Habitat homes graduate at a higher rate than our public school system's graduation rate. So lots of, if you have any interest in that, those impact studies are out on our website. One of the things we see when we build in concentration is we see that other neighbors start taking better care of their property and start doing improvements on their houses. And so it really does lift our inner city neighborhoods, or what we call our urban core neighborhoods, up as well. Our last strategic plan, we focused on Glenwood, TP Park, and Jacobsville, because those are the Jacobsville and TP Park are the highest poverty rates, neighborhoods that have high poverty rates in our city. We are now currently building in the Chain neighborhood, which is around Cedar Hall, which is west of Fulton Avenue over to Pigeon Creek. The Star neighborhood, that's between Fulton Avenue and First Avenue, north of Columbia. And we're going to put 33 homes in there. And that's probably, it's costing us about $160,000 to build a Habitat home now. So that's a significant investment in those neighborhoods that have been disinvested in neighborhoods. And we expect to see the same thing there that we've seen in Glenwood and TP Park and Jacobsville and Ballard neighborhood. We're going to see the neighbors start taking better care of their homes too. Yes, and thank you for volunteering in the past too.
Thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you.